Next up, we have color 4, which is mountains and the determiner. Mountains are elevated, expansive spaces that offer perspective and clarity and provides a sense of overview and detachment from the chaos below. If this is a left arrow, it is an active mountain, and these are mountain-like spaces where you can be active and engaged, hiking, exploring, or working in a high-energy elevated setting. On the flip side, you have the right arrow, and these are passive mountains. And these are mountain-like spaces where you can be still and reflective, soaking in the expansive view.
The expansive view is what right view people do when you get over to the right, to the view, where you view the movement. But this is setting up the movement. And this passive look over everything is very reminiscent to its harmony in line 1. Caves didn't want to look over anything. We're happy in our cave. Mountains are, no, we're totally out on top of the cave, way on top, now looking out over everything. We've had our foundation. We've been through our markets and our kitchens, and now we're looking out over all of that. It's almost the beginning of industry in a way. But mountains is technically a height thing. You are sort of higher up. If you have a mountains thing, being higher up is actually important to you, even just in your dwelling and where you are. And you'll notice when you go down deep into a valley and you're low on a basement floor, you're not happy. Please see that. Whereas the kitchens or the markets person might be up high, they might be down low. They're going to be fine if they feel at home in that environment. But so the active environments, the mountains-like spaces, is they're moving in it. So what's in mountains? There's a certain ruggedness in mountains. There's a terrain that moves up and down. This is about the fixedness to take what we just synthesized in line 3 and move it across the plain and move it across what will be valleys next. So basically, what got brewed in the kitchen is about to be in the mountains and come down from the mountains into the valleys. This is part of that movement. After we got out of caves, we didn't go straight to valleys and be like, let's mix it up way out in the open, right? We stepped out in front of the cave, and then we started mixing stuff. And by the way, much of that kitchen was back in a cave, and we're evolving through that because it's all hardscape. They didn't just reinvent the cave, but they started to. And then there would be outbuildings and other things, and now finally we ditched the cave altogether. We in the mountain, people built homes. This is the beginning of truly building the homes.
And seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
Because cave is very scary, danger, be safe. And then it's like market, okay, you start opening it up, you start seeing what's nearby. Kitchens, you're mixing stuff up. And then it's like mountains, it really makes sense because now you're like, okay, I need to get because 4 and 1 are linked up. So
I'm out of the cave and above it now.
To see over, hey, what else is out there? A valley is already it makes sense that valley is the next one because a valley is almost more vulnerable. You can see into a valley. If you're on the top of the mountain, you see out over everybody. So it makes sense with that 4 and 1 kind of link where the 1 is insecure and the 4 is also redeveloping its foundation from that initial foundation.
Yep.
That makes sense because I kind of never understood. I was like, why is mountains 4 and shores 6? I thought mountains would be higher up because you're looking out over and oh no, that actually makes sense to me now. So that's really cool.
It's harmony to the caves.
Yeah.
Yep. And by the way, if there wasn't a mountain to go to, they built them. When the Mayans were here doing stuff, we're starting to carry forward into doing what is going to be fourth line stuff. That part of our evolution is well underway because we're already in valleys, pasture foods, and you know what I mean, raising up stuff and creating farming and all of that. So that is the valley. And then after you've done all that work, you go to the shore, essentially. So, hey, head to the beach. That's a 6-line thing when we get there.
Once we get there, let's just stick with the mountains for now.
First, the mountains. The mountains are they're above the cave, and it's don't worry, sweetie, I'm on the perch on the mountain today. I'll know anything that comes anywhere near our cave, where plenty of our markets still are, where I have fond memories of plenty of synthesis did take place inside and outside of that cave in the kitchen. And now I'm up here building a new foundation that's going to have momentum to move from the mountain down.
That makes sense. My boyfriend is a active mountain.
He's always moving over terrain.
Constantly. Constantly, and especially when we're at a party, or we do a lot of like event production, party production kind of stuff, and so he's part of people who are building things and checking things out. I mean, he is constantly like doing his loops, checking things out, keeping an eye on everything, and especially when there's like a loft or something, he's like up in the loft taking a look, making sure everything's cool, but he's always moving around with it. Whereas like we have another friend who is a passive mountain, and she'll like perch up on the top and she'll just like hang out,
She's
and she'll
happy enough just knowing she's on a mountain.
yeah, and she'll keep like an eye out, but she's like up and away and in the corner, and you almost don't notice her. Whereas he's always moving around, being an active mountain, where she's like a passive mountain, still on the loft, still looking out, still making sure everything's good and checking that her friends are safe and everything is okay. But it's very, very obviously distinct with the active and the passive mountain in a fun
Right.
way.
And another important thing about the mountains is you are outside. You are not in a cave. You are out of the cave. Even when you just read through the lines, this will make more sense as it relates to the valleys, but even that. So, too, is just like here, looking out over things, the passive as it relates to marketplaces, outdoor markets versus indoor markets. But you'll see these harmonies as we move up to the 5 and the 6. But you're outside of the cave. You're outside. You're out.
You're out
You
of the
built,
thing. The
you're
first
out
three
of
are
the
like a
thing.
thing, and now
Right.
you're out of the thing. You've moved beyond the thing.
Right. Right. That's why you're in a landscape. You're not part of a hardscape.